Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the New South Wales Premier and Cabinet 2021 Staff Awards ceremony. It's great to be able to welcome attendees in person as well as our online audience. My name is Rebecca Borkman. I'm the Internal Engagement Officer in DPC's Change and Engagement branch, and I'm one of your MCs for today. I'd also like to introduce my fellow MCs, Matthew McHale, a graduate currently on rotation with Partnerships and Engagement, and Michael Tung, an Associate Director from the Premier's Implementation Unit.
This is the 6th year of the awards, and it is a great privilege for us to be a part of a ceremony recognising the outstanding work of staff who have gone above and beyond to deliver great outcomes for the people of New South Wales in another challenging year. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge and pay respects to the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and would like to welcome Uncle Alan Madden to the stage to welcome us to country.
There you are, the two Allens. So I'm Alan Murray, I'm the chairperson of the Metropolitan Local Land Council. So, a bit of a mix-up yesterday and the day before, so with the Allens. So, but more importantly, I'm the chairperson of the Metropolitan Local Land Council. Became chairperson weeks ago when Yvonne was the chair of the Land Council. Now she's hopefully, a councillor with the City of Sydney, and that will make obviously big changes for inner city. Yes, we're on Gadigal Land, the ancestral home of the Gadigal people, but also more importantly that they are part of the Eora Nation. There are 26 clans that make up the Eora Nation, and the Gadigal people are one of them. Ministers and invited guests, just want to acknowledge that we've received a land grant yesterday, and we now got the privilege of owning Tallis Reserve in Selenets, and that's been a big feat. That means, yes, we will now be playing tennis. We'll be playing tennis, but the government wouldn't give us the easement because that's a parkway, and we believe that parkway is fairly important because there are sites there. And that was announced yesterday. And that is great news because we've been fighting for that reserve for many, many years. So it's come to great joy to know that we've got that. So, and there's more. And I suppose like that, when you receiving an award, you are doing this knowing that you're on Gadigal land. If I say this, is that if you want to walk with us, certainly we will walk with you, but know this, that the Gadigal people, the Eora people, and Aboriginal people and Torres Strait people have been here on Australia for 40,000 years, 60,000 years, 120,000 years. Every step you take on this great continent, you are on Aboriginal land, mainland Australia. And with that, there are cultures, protocols, rituals, and also relationship to people as well. And I'll say, if you want to walk with us, not be strangers, but be friends, we'll certainly walk with you in the spirit of cooperation, in the spirit of relationship, but we certainly want our treaty. And that's most paramount because our future generation is with our First Nations youth. And once they come through and understand the policy and how the government does its business, we'll certainly know how and be trusted with the good people of our next generation. With that, I want to acknowledge all First Nations people in this room, and I want to say thank you for their continuation, collaboration, and also the spirit of our culture. With that, welcome to Gadigal Land, Aboriginal land, always will be, always was Aboriginal land. Leadership, commitment, trust and respect, that's what we expect. Thank you very much. Good morning.
Thank you, Uncle Alan, for your very warm welcome to country. Before we begin the ceremony, I would like to acknowledge some of the special guests joining us today. A very warm welcome to the New South Wales Premier, Dominic Perrottet, and New South Wales Special Minister of State, Minister for Public Service and Employee Relations, Aboriginal Affairs and the Arts, the Honourable Don Harwin. To our Secretary, Michael Coates-Trotter, members of the DPC Senior Executive Board, and importantly, to the finalists, we are all here to congratulate and celebrate you. I'll now invite the Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Australian Museum, Kim Mackay, to say a few words.
Thanks so much and welcome everyone to the Australian Museum this morning. We are Australia's first museum, established back in 1827, so in a few years' time we'll be marking our 200th anniversary. It's very important that country is acknowledged here, and I want to thank Uncle Alan for that very lovely welcome, because we are the custodian of one of the most significant First Nations collections in Australia. We have over 17,000 objects in our First Nations collection, most of which is housed here on site. We also have a really strong contingent of First Nations staff at the Australian Museum who are managing those collections and bringing the stories to light to the general public. And if you haven't seen it already, I urge you to pop downstairs and see Unsettled, our award-winning First Nations exhibition. It's thrilling to have DPC here today, but especially I want to thank Minister Harwin, who, through his time working with us here, has done the most remarkable job. You'll see the beautiful renovation, the transformation of the Australian Museum, and everyone in the arts sector is in full voice when we say that this has been, Don has been our best arts minister, and he's been so helpful to all of us in terms of transforming our institutions, and we thank him very much for that. It's exciting for us to have a new secretary. Welcome, Michael. Thank you very much for being here today. And I just want to pay my thanks to our Deputy Secretary, Kate Foy, and the other members of the senior leadership team who've been so supportive. So with that, congratulations to you all. Enjoy the museum and have a great Christmas. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kim. I'll now invite the Secretary, Michael Coates-Trotter, to the stage for his opening address.
Thanks very much. I might dub you the young MCs, so thank you again for doing this today. Welcome all. I'd like to just start by acknowledging, one, the welcome from Uncle Alan, and two, just my own acknowledgement. This is Gadigal Land, and I pay my respects to Gadigal and Eora elders past and present. And as Kim said, if you haven't seen Unsettled, it is an absolutely remarkable perspective on colonisation as seen, experienced, resisted and survived by Indigenous people in New South Wales. It is, and it's free, thanks to the legacy of Minister Harwin. And I just want to thank Minister Harwin for his time today, and also just echo Kim's acknowledgement that our three kids grew up in this museum, and it's always been fantastic, but since this renovation, it is simply spectacular. Phenomenal collection, phenomenal place in the, the cultural and the intellectual life of Sydney, but just a great place to meet and gather with people, just a phenomenal public space. So, look, my wife and I have three kids, and when our eldest, our daughter, first went to school, we were super proud, and we thought the school's going to discover what we secretly knew, that she was just a little bit special. And weren't we happy about a week or so later when she came home, proudly presenting us with an award, a certificate for excellent listening in class. And we went, this is just fantastic, the start of a brilliant school career. We cleared a space on the fridge, we tacked up the certificate, we sort of paid homage to it, and we thought, this is just marvellous. A couple of weeks later, she comes home with another award. This time it's for sitting still in school assembly. And we found some space on the fridge and we tacked that award up this time with a little less fanfare, a little less enthusiasm, but, you know, all the same. 2 weeks later, she comes home with a 3rd award after the yoga class. Yes, it's an Eastern Suburbs primary school. And the award was for most improved in the camel pose. And that's when the penny dropped. We worked out that Darlinghurst Public School hands out a lot of awards. Now, DPC doesn't hand out a lot of awards. These awards recognise excellence and they celebrate the absolute best of what we do. They're valuable and frankly they give you bragging rights. They acknowledge extraordinary achievements by individuals and teams. And I also think in this particular period where our work life and our home lives have been so intermingled, I think some of these awards also acknowledge the support I know people have needed to rely on from friends and family and partners in order to do the extraordinary stuff that you've done in the last year. I guess most of us can't wait to see the back of 2021. We've discovered more classical Greek letters of the alphabet than we wanted to know about. There's more to come. But it would have been a much, much more difficult year but for the extraordinary work that you have done on behalf of our community, for our community, but also with and for colleagues in this agency and across the public sector. And I just really want to acknowledge that. I couldn't be prouder to be the Secretary of DPC because it means I get to be associated with you and the work you do. It also means I get to be associated with the history and achievements of this department and possibly most excitingly a chance to be associated with what comes next, the future. And we are going to re-equip DPC in some important ways in the next few months to help strengthen our capacity to help the Premier and the government refine, develop and deliver an agenda to propose big ideas and not just be brilliant at implementing them, and also to help broker solutions to the inevitable complex policy and operational problems that all governments are faced with, now more so than ever, both across the government and between levels of government. So I look forward to that prospect in the new year. In closing, thanks for welcoming me so warmly to this organisation. It's been really lovely. I'm grateful for that. Thanks to you. Congratulations to you as finalists. One request, make it an informal secretary's direction. If you get an award, show it off at home, show it off at work. Better yet, do both, Monday, Wednesday at home, Thursday, Sunday at work. And for God's sake, don't put it on the fridge. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary. It's now time to present the first award. Outstanding Service, Devise, Drive and Deliver. Awarded to an individual who provides exceptional outcomes for the people of New South Wales. I'd like to invite the Deputy Secretary, Community Engagement and Executive Sponsor Diversity and Inclusion Network, Kate Foy, to the stage to present the award.
Thank you, everyone, and particular acknowledgement and thanks to Minister Harwin for being here today. This event actually brings together all of the Ministers' portfolios. We are in a great cultural institution, one of the greatest in this nation, presenting an award to the public sector and the Department of Premier and Cabinet for excellence in a place where is really important in terms of First Nations collections, and also the heritage aspects of where we are. So you can see just in this very small moment the important work that Minister Harwin and Community Engagement has been leading. Acknowledgement and thank you to you, Kim, and Secretary, and especially to my colleagues. It is my pleasure to be able to... Oh, what? Are you still doing stuff? I'm still talking.
Sorry.
I'm still talking. No one told me to stop.
It's okay. I'll announce the people one by one, if that's okay.
Right. We didn't
Leave
rehearse
them waiting
this.
in anticipation.
Can I do it in song?
Yes. Our first finalist is John Duggan. John has played a critical role in the Heritage New South Wales repatriation program, enabling many ancestors and cultural collections to be successfully returned to the relevant Aboriginal communities. working closely with the First Nations communities and various institutions across the state. In the past financial year alone, John, a proud Camiliori man, has travelled over 4,560 kilometres to help facilitate 19 repatriations. Our second finalist is Lil Gordon. Lil has shown exceptional leadership in the DPC COVID response to support Aboriginal communities over the past 12 months. Throughout this challenging time, Lil worked closely with our cluster colleagues to ensure that government met the needs of local communities. She epitomises DPC's purpose and intent by putting the people at the heart of everything she does to deliver services and foster a culture of respect. And our third finalist is Clem Hall. Clem has made an invaluable contribution to the delivery and quality of communications throughout the pandemic. In particular, he brings the role of DPC as a central leadership agency to his work in supporting our key stakeholders in the Premier's office, using his networks across government agencies to deliver coordinated, quality communications. And now, Kate, would you please do us the honour?
Thank you. I was so excited and really delighted there are such high quality in our DPC team. And I'm pleased to say the winner of the Outstanding Service Devise, Drive and Deliver Individual Award is John Duggan from Community Engagement. Thank you. There you go. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Thanks, mate. 1.5 metres. That way.
Thank you very much. This is a big surprise. First of all, I want to thank someone or some people for the nomination. The fact that somebody would recognise my work and take the time to sit down and write a nomination is very sweet. So whoever you are, whoever you all are, thank you very much for that. Any Heritage New South Wales staff member could be sitting here in my stead at the moment. Our repatriation program is a very intricate program. It's one of those programs that ticks all the boxes for me personally. When we do these repatriations, we go out there and we'll see. It triggers a whole lot of community events and process. So we'll have old Arnie cooking up stews and casseroles and bush tucker, the food that we like for the gathering. We'll have, the young men and women getting together to prepare for the right ceremonies for those ancestors to be reinterred. We'll have, we'll have multiple people in those communities doing a number of things, and it really highlights a lot of those traditions that are definitely still there, and that civic responsibility amongst Aboriginal communities. It's still very much alive and living, and our repat program is one of those things that really helps nurture that. We're very fortunate. We get to work across multiple tenures with multiple Aboriginal communities, with multiple collecting institutions and organisations, and we get the job done, and we get great outcomes for a community. I don't want to waffle too long. I just want to say thanks for everything, and I kind of feel like I'm put on the spot a little bit here. So. Yeah.
I'd now like to welcome to the stage the Special Minister of State and Minister for the Public Service and Employee Relations, Aboriginal Affairs and the Arts, the Honourable Minister Harwin.
Well, thank you so much for the welcome. The chair of the Metro Lauk has now left us, but I sincerely want to thank Alan for his welcome to country. And may I say, Kim, thank you also for your welcome. This venerable structure, the oldest museum in Australia, is on Gadigal Land, and I pay my respects to the elders past and present and thank them for their custodianship of country and their care for what many argue is the world's oldest continuous living culture. Well, it's certainly been a year where there's been every reason for and a huge need for the New South Wales Public Service to shine. And that comes on another year where there was a huge need for you to shine as well. But at least at the end of this year, we can be here together, well, at least those of us in this room, and no doubt many others joining us digitally, to celebrate all of the good work that's been done in the Department of Premier and Cabinet. It has been an absolute pleasure to work with so many of you, and in fact, I think I've had occasion to work with all 4 Deputy Secretaries during the last year, and most of the DPC staff in one way work with me. And I appreciate all of your efforts, and I must say how delighted I am for only a very brief time now to have been able to work with the new Secretary, who most certainly is a breath of fresh air in DPC. So welcome, Michael, and thank you. Well, some of the areas where DPC is shining in my patch, which I should really talk about and celebrate, because that would be a mistake not to, on a day like today. I can't do anything but start with AA, New South Wales, and I'm just so glad that Aboriginal Affairs is part of a central agency where it should be, because I don't think that AA should be a backwater in another cluster. I think it should be at the centre of government. It's a central agency, and it should be driving outcomes for First Nations people, particularly while we've got national obligations under Closing the Gap. And I certainly hope that it continues to play that, because it has stepped up in a tremendous way during the last 12 months. And in particular, as we saw Aboriginal vaccination outcomes not what they should have been in the first half of the year under the watch of the Commonwealth Government, AA has stepped up magnificently. We worked out what was needed. Through place-based work, we began to close the glaring and alarming gaps between vaccination rates in the general population and in the Aboriginal population. And the closing, if I may borrow the phrase, closing the gap in vaccination rates between July and November is something everyone in AA, but particularly those directly working on the project, should be immensely proud of. And then I could move to Screen New South Wales, who over 2 lockdowns have nevertheless performed magnificently working with the recovery team to ensure that we had 90 film and television productions in New South Wales that were filmed in that period, keeping 10,000 people in work. They were magnificent too. But let's also not go past employee relations and, of course, the legal branch, who had particular difficulties that they had to face and enormous strains in terms of long overtime work to make sure that the public service of this state and also in terms of legal branch, everything else that was required with public health orders was done to make sure that the wheels of government kept moving. But in particular, I'd just like to finally reflect on arts. The arts sector's taken a huge kick in the guts over the last 2 years. But I am so proud of what, under Beck Dean, in terms of the advice that was given, and under Sue Proctor, the work that's been done on the financials of arts organisations and their respective teams. Their work has been outstanding. Every arts organisation in the country will tell you that the response of the New South Wales State Government to the existential crisis faced by the arts has been the best in the country, and not one single arts company in this state has gone under. We have kept them all going. And that's all because of the work of all of you. So take my hat off to all the people in legal branch, the community engagement branch, and of course the employee relations branch, who I've enjoyed immensely working with, and I'm so proud of them, and this is a great year to be celebrating what's been done. So with no further ado, now I've done a few of these. I've done the helpmans, I've done actors, so I'm not making Kate's mistake. I will walk away.
Thank you.
I did bring it with me after all. There you are.
Here you go. This is yours, that's all right. Thank you, Minister Harwin. Very smooth.
Almost flawless.
I'd like to invite you, well, you're already here, but that's all right, to give the next award, which is for the teams in the Outstanding Service, Devise, Drive and Deliver category. This category was extremely competitive and is the only one with 4 teams in the finals. Our first team finalist being recognised today is the International Border Reopening Team, who are responsible for developing governance arrangements, drawing together several operational agencies and external stakeholders, and resulting in New South Wales leading the nation in reuniting families and Aussies returning home safely. Our second finalists are Jackie Taylor and Sam Higgs for their work on Aboriginal cultural heritage regulation. This team have significantly contributed to the protection and management of Aboriginal cultural heritage in New South Wales, leading the newly consolidated function to take an innovative approach to managing organisational change and provide a voice for Aboriginal cultural heritage across the state. Our third finalist is the National Cabinet team, who are the central point of coordination and policy response to underpin the New South Wales Government's seat and contribution at National Cabinet. In no small way, this team has helped position New South Wales in this critical national forum to achieve extraordinary results for our citizens in response to COVID. And our fourth finalist in this category is the Enhanced Parental Leave Provisions for the New South Wales Public Sector team, whose work culminated in the issuing of industrial relations determinations and Premier's memoranda that will greatly enhance the working lives of parents and their families in the sector. I'd now like to invite Minister Harwin to announce the winner of this award.
And I just particularly also want to mention to those of you who've been working on other projects during the year, because a number of you, of the nominees have been. It's been really important, and I give a shout out to my heritage staff for doing the same thing, to see how well you've done on keeping the wheels of government moving so that we've got a forward agenda. That's really impressive as well. So pardon me for that slight diversion. The winner is of the Outstanding Service Devise, Drive and Deliver Team Award, the International Border Reopening Team. Oh, here's some more. And this one too. And finally, one more. There you go. How do I give this back to you? Oh, yes.
very much, Minister, and thank you very much to the Awards Committee for this recognition. Lucy Kennedy and I would like to accept this award on behalf of our wonderful team, Diana Mansour, Michaela Belling and Oscar Bouget. It has been such a privilege to work on the project to reopen New South Wales internationally. It's not often in your career that you get to work on a project that means so much to not only the people of New South Wales, but to people across the globe. And the scenes that we have seen from Sydney Airport over the last few weeks really demonstrate how important this project is to the people of New South Wales and what huge social importance it is to all of us.
Shen and I actually job share, so we see each other as the same person, so that's why we're both standing here. And I just wanted to add also, from our perspective, we feel very proud that this project has actually enabled us to show the qualities, I guess, that we see DPC staff as demonstrating, both in terms of policy thinking, but also in terms of project management. And I think the opportunity to work on this project really has been, as Shen said, one of the really high points of our careers, but also I think shows a way forward in terms of how DPC can really add the value that we know that we can do, across government in those sort of cross-cutting issues. So really wanted to thank, in particular, Natasha Luschwitz and Sarah Cookshank, our senior exec, who gave us this opportunity, but also more broadly just to thank people in DPC for working with us so collaboratively and across government agencies like New South Wales Health and New South Wales Police, who have done the most outstanding job. Thank you.
Thank you again, Minister. This next award is for Outstanding Service Business Enablers Individual Award. This award is for exceptional individuals whose work underpins our department's organisational effectiveness, capabilities and high standards of service delivery. I'd like to invite Samara Dobbins, Deputy Secretary, People and Operations, to the stage to present this award.
Thank you, Beck. Thank you, everyone.
The first finalist in this category is Elizabeth Klepp, or Liz. Liz is a valuable and critical member of DPC's EDRM team and sole objective trainer. Adapting her classroom training program and learning materials to be delivered online during the lockdown, so far this year Liz has trained 1,120 staff across the cluster to use Objective. This achieves training outcomes that far exceed the expectation of her role. The second finalist is Carolyn Page. Spearheading DPC internal communications for the sector during the pandemic, Caroline worked tirelessly to ensure changes to public health orders were communicated accurately and in a timely fashion to public servants across New South Wales. Caroline has managed these high-demand, high-stress situations with an infectious sense of poise, calmness and professionalism. The third finalist is Jasmine Sen. Jasmine, or Jazz, exemplifies leadership that is inclusive, empowers staff, and has set a gold standard for management of a diverse, fast-paced team that consistently delivers to a high standard. The Government Partnerships team is at the heart of New South Wales' response to COVID-19, and Jazz provided the strategic leadership needed to deliver in the face of these challenges. I'd now like to invite Samara to announce the recipient of this award.
Thank you, Beck. Before I announce the recipient, I just want to say that this was a really tough category to judge, and the three nominees, or all the nominees and the three finalists, are really impressive. I see three very nervous finalists there. Personally, I don't think they should invite me to present awards at these things, because I'm always half in tears the whole time because I'm so proud and thrilled, but I'm proud of all three of you. But I'm delighted to announce that the winner of the Outstanding Service Business Enablers Individual Award is for Jazz 10 from Transformation.
Thank you so much. I'm feeling slightly overwhelmed by this. It's an enormous honour to receive this award, but it's been an even greater honour and privilege to have been given a leadership position at what I think has been an incredibly historic and challenging moment in history. And I think one of the biggest things about leadership, and I think the particular role that I've had the pleasure of leading, is that it gives me an opportunity to bring and challenges me to bring the very best of what I could to deliver for the people of New South Wales every day. And no small part of that has been leading my absolutely wonderful team, some of whom are here today. And I just wanted to say I think this award speaks to the collegiality and the leadership that we all show every day. So this is also for my team. Thank you so much.
Our next award is the Outstanding Service Business Enablers Team Award. Teams in this category are being recognised for organisational effectiveness, capabilities, and high standards of service delivery. I'd like to invite Lil Gordon, Head of Aboriginal Affairs and 2021 Staff Awards finalist, to the stage to present this award. Our first team being recognised is DPC's communications team, who has demonstrated the importance of the central coordinating role of DPC through their 24/7 service to the Premier's office and the whole of government communications response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Our second team is Premier, Minister and Parliament. PMP plays an important role in supporting the New South Wales Premier, Ministers and Parliament by managing and responding to correspondence. During 2021, correspondence volumes increased by 500%. The team continued to deliver on this increased workload while exceeding KPIs for on-time responses. Our third team is the Government Services Recognition Tool Project team, which was instrumental in creating a multifaceted tool able to calculate prior years of government service for employees across the public sector and other Australian jurisdictions. The success of the GSRT was made possible because of the positivity, innovation, engagement, and dogged perseverance of the project team. I'd now like to invite Lil to announce the recipient of this award.
Great, thank you so much. I certainly would firstly like to acknowledge country and pay my respects to Uncle Alan from earlier on, and pay my respects to all our elders past and present. Thank you so much. This was an outstanding category, of course, and I've worked with some of these lovely people and appreciate the work that they did and continue to do in terms of DPC. It seems like it was a really, really competitive realm in the fact that we now have joint winners. So I would like to announce that the Outstanding Service Business Enablers Team Award goes to the Premier, Minister and Parliament team from People and Operations Group and the communications team from Transformation Groups. Congratulations. Come on down.
Thank you. Is there no one else? Thanks. Yeah, I guess so.
I'll just keep this short and sweet. So I'm one of the senior advisors in PMP. Just firstly wanted to congratulate all the finalists here today and a big shout out to PMP for all their hard work this year. It's just been a tremendous effort and I wanted to thank everyone that was here today and also watching. So congratulations to everyone.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Hannah. I'm the Director of Comms here at DPC. thank you for this award. We're very excited. I think my first observation is that I feel like a slight imposter being up here accepting it. I've been at DPC for 6 months. This team was unreal when I got here. They continue to be unreal. And the first person I'd like to thank is Kate Ma. So we're lucky enough to have her as our ED. She held the Director of Comms roles before me, and she's a superstar and we love working with her. Also Sarah Cruikshank. I think the comms team, we're lucky in that we get to work on a huge breadth of subject matter across the cluster and across whole of government. So thank you to all the teams that we've collaborated with, particularly with COVID. We'd like to give a thank you to the Stratco team, and also a thank you to the DPC legal team, who I feel like we all, dealt with each other 24 hours a day during the COVID response. So the comms team is only as good as all the people that we partner with. And thank you to the comms team for being so high performing and so collaborative and just all round good humans. Thank you. I get my award.
To present the next award, Living Our Values in the Individual category, please welcome Deputy Secretary of the Transformation Group, Chair, People Committee, Sarah Cruikshank.
Thank you so much. And I need to say, how good are our MCs? I'm just going to let you run the floor. Go.
Thank you. This award recognises those people who exemplify what it means to be a DPC employee by living our values of integrity, trust, service and accountability. Our first finalist is Troy King. Troy is being recognised for his problem-solving abilities, exceptional support and determination to get the job done. With infectious enthusiasm and a never-ending positive attitude, he lives DPC's core values daily and has done so ever since he joined the department over 20 years ago. Our second finalist is Peggy Fan. Peggy is an outstanding achiever who consistently performs above and beyond her dedicated role. For many years, she's been the first point of contact and backbone of the Executive Council, the go-to person for understanding processes across the New South Wales public sector. Peggy lives and breathes our DPC values in what is a challenging, high-volume and unpredictable work environment. Our third individual finalist is Claire Southwell-Jones. Claire's diligence, leadership and collaboration across the department, public and private sectors is second to none, playing a pivotal role in supporting the Department of Communities and Justice to deliver the Child Protection Premier's priorities. Her ability to handle sensitive issues, communicate effectively and problem solve has earned her trust with agencies across the sector and NGOs.
And I want to congratulate every one of those finalists because there were some great descriptions there of the work they do. But for me, this particular award category, you can think about it as these are the people that actually reflect what DPC does best, and they live and breathe the way that we add value, the way we contribute across the sector, and most importantly, how we broker and fix problems when problems need to be satisfied and fixed. So I think all of them deserve our congratulations for this, but there can only be one winner for this category, not like the last one where there were two. So I'm really, really pleased to announce that the Living Our Values Individual Award today goes to Peggy Fan from the Office of the General Counsel.
Thank you, DPC, for giving me this award. I also thank you to my manager who nominates me. And I also want to take this today as an opportunity to say thank you to my amazing team, DPC Legal, their assistance whenever I need it, especially during the COVID period that everyone worked so hard. So thank you, DPC Legal, and everyone. Thank you.
I'd now like to welcome to the stage the Premier of New South Wales, the Honourable Dominic Perrottet, to address the department and present the award for Living Our Values in the team category.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I'll share Sarah's view. Great MCs are always an important part of any presentation. Look, I just want to just begin by thanking everybody for the effort that everybody's put in over the last 12 months. It's been incredibly challenging for a state, but I think these are the opportunities and the reasons as to why we go into public service. Not for the good times, but for challenging times, and whatever comes our way, I believe we can get through it. We're a long way from home, as we're seeing more recently in some of the case number challenges and the increase of different variants, and I'm sure there'll be more in store in 2022. But in circumstances over the last period of time, last 12 months, this year particularly, from a DPC perspective, to have a new Premier, to have a new Secretary, change can be difficult, but the stability from my perspective and the service in the short period of time that I've been Premier, from obviously from Michael, but from the Deputy Secretaries all the way down to everybody right across the Department of Premier and Cabinet, I think has been amazing. So I'm very blessed and fortunate to have such a fantastic team around me, and I look forward to continuing to work with you over what will be another challenging year next year. But look at the bright side. It's going to be great for your CVs. Being in public service during a pandemic, and I'm incredibly confident. I don't know, from my perspective, there's negativity every single decision we make gets panned. But if we take a step back, I think we should realise, I think, how fortunate we are to live in what I believe is the greatest state and the greatest country in the world. And when you look globally at some of the challenges that have occurred, New South Wales and our people are in a very strong position. To be in a position this year where we've got that vaccination rate up to close to 95% double dose. When we were sitting in those meetings many months ago, we never believed we'd get to that position, and that's enabled us to open up safely. To be in a position where, in terms of a death rate and serious illness, it's been incredibly low, and at the same time, our economy has remained incredibly strong. And when I was Treasurer before, it was very difficult to be in those rooms making those decisions, which I knew would affect many people losing their jobs, having their businesses close. They're incredibly tough decisions to make. And we know that many people across our state have made sacrifices, but I think the faith in our government from the public overall has been incredibly important. The social cohesion that we've seen in New South Wales compared to other states in the country, but also to other countries around the world, I think has been one of the best. And to that, it goes to the leadership in the government, and in my view, the best leaders in the government are in the centre, and that's the Department of Premier and Cabinet. So to all of you, to those who have been nominated today, and to the winners, thank you for everything you've done, not on behalf of me, but on the people of our state, because whether in politics or in public or a member of the public service, it's the same game, it's the same focus, and that's looking after our people and making our state better and ensuring that we set up our state for future success, and each of you are integral in doing all of that. So on behalf of the people of New South Wales, can I thank you very, very much for everything you've done over the last 12 months and the fun and games we're going to have over the next 12 months. So thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Premier, for coming to speak with us and acknowledging the important work that DPC has done, particularly over the past 2 years. Thank you also for agreeing to present the Living Our Values Award in the Teams category. This award recognises teams who uphold superior standards of conduct, performance and stakeholder engagement that reflect the core government sector values of integrity, trust, service and accountability. Our first team being recognised today is DPC's COVID-19 contact tracing and Delta strategy mobilisation, which saw individuals from across DPC groups come together to support the state's pandemic response. Our second team is the Aboriginal Communities Emergency Management Pilot Project team. In collaboration with other agencies, the team worked with 4 discrete Aboriginal communities to develop solutions to mitigate emergencies, building valuable trust and community engagement while providing a sustainable model for the future. The third team in this category is the New Year's Eve 2021 and Australia Day 2021 project teams. The New Year's Eve 2021 and Australia Day 2021 project teams exemplified DPC's core values by delivering 2 iconic events that unified the community. The team from Partnerships and Engagement used the full force of their experience with logistics, production and stakeholder engagement to deliver both events successfully. I'd now like to invite the Premier to announce the winner of this award.
Okay, big moment. All very worthy nominees, but the Living Our Values Team Award goes to, of course, DPC's COVID-19 contact tracing and Delta strategy mobilisation. Take that.
It's slightly more overwhelming than I expected, but on behalf of the team, thank you, Premier, and thank you all for the award, for the nomination. But I think I speak for everybody, especially for the opportunity to help the New South Wales community in such hard times.
We'll now move to the second last award of the morning, the Young Professional Award, recognising staff under the age of 35 who have demonstrated exceptional leadership qualities. I'd like to invite DPC's General Counsel and Executive Sponsor for the Young Professionals Network, Kate Boyd, to the stage.
Thanks everyone, I'm honoured to be here to present this really special award. I think we all see that the impacts of the pandemic have been particularly cruel for our young people, but despite that, the young people in DPC have continued to shine and dedicate themselves to improving the lives of others despite the personal challenges and disappointments. Over to you, Matthew.
Thank you. The first finalist in this category is Isabel Gabaki. Isabel supported the Honourable Prue Goward with a review of policies and procedures for the prevention and management of bullying, harassment and sexual misconduct for ministerial staff. Her work was instrumental in progressing best practice policies and procedures to support a respectful and safe workplace. The second finalist is Elle Kellett. Elle has shown great drive and commitment in her work coordinating strategic projects across the department. Most recently, she assisted the Office of the Secretary in the transition. She has a wealth of knowledge in every aspect within the department and is particularly skilled in building relationships and finding solutions. And the third finalist is Russell Schmidt. Russell is a key member of the DPC legal branch team that prepares public health orders to mitigate the risks of COVID-19. He has unified and inspired health, legal and communications teams from across government towards a common goal through his intellectual rigour, good humour and respectful leadership. He has worked tirelessly in the public interest, also helping to deliver key legislative reforms within the Premier and Special Minister of State portfolios, including the new Modern Slavery Act.
I feel like I'm choosing between my children, Russell and Isabel, both in my team. I love you both. L2, but I'm absolutely thrilled to announce that the Young Professional Award for 2021 goes to Russell Schmidt from the Russell couldn't be with us today, but we'll cue an awkward video.
Thanks very much, Kate. I just wanted to say thank you very much to everyone that I've worked with over the course of the year across a great many projects. I think I've had the privilege of working with people from every branch and group across the department. And a special thank you to everyone in Legal Branch and the Office of the General Counsel. Everyone has been doing an amazing job under the most difficult of circumstances. Yeah, it's been a real credit to everyone that we've been able to keep going and do what we have been able to over the course of the last year. So thank you very much to everyone.
I'm told it was particularly fun to convince Russell that every finalist was getting videoed. Finally, the last award of the New South Wales Premier and Cabinet 2021 Staff Awards. I'd like to invite the Secretary, Michael Coates-Trotter, back to the stage to do the honours of announcing the 2021 Waratah Award. The Waratah Award is a unique way to recognise one of our finalists or teams who go above and beyond each day and distinctly exemplify the values of the department. This discretionary award is from the vast pool of nominations received from the People Committee. This year, one team stood out for the way it shapes Premier and Cabinet's story. All members in this team are incredibly worthy of this award. I'd now like to invite the Secretary to announce the winner of this award.
Thank you very, very much. I hesitate to call this the captain's pick, but I will. The winner of the Waratah Award for 2021 is the Enhanced Parental Leave Provisions for the New South Wales Public Sector. Thank you so much. I'm going to give... I will. Thank you. There you go. Well done. There's a lot of love in the house for this team. Congratulations. I just think this is one of the least appreciated pieces of social policy. It's going to make the public sector a great place to work, but it offers the chance for people of any gender who are parenting to be active parents, and that's brilliant for them and it's brilliant for kids, and I just want to thank you for making it possible. Pete Griffin.
Just like to say thank you. I'm stunned actually that we got this award. One of our team members, Jacqueline Vertellini, couldn't be here, so I'd like to thank her. I'd like to thank all of public sector employee relations. We've worked on certainly the gender neutral part of the parental leave arrangements for some years, and finally through persistence it was achieved, and then the miscarriage and the preterm leave, and as Michael kindly said, it is something for all of the sector. It balances work and family needs, diversity and inclusion, and I just can't believe that we've won it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, congratulations to the Enhanced Parental Leave Provisions team. Very well done. And thank you, Secretary. We'd like to also extend a big thank you to everyone who helped put together the Staff Awards this year, the Staff Awards Working Group, the People Committee, and also Internal Engagement, IT, and Creative Services. Thank you also and congratulations to all of our finalists. These awards are a huge testament to your hard work this year. We'd like to leave you now with a little wrap-up video, probably not an awkward one, a good one, and and it's to remind you of the year that was. Thank you.
My biggest achievement this year was bringing together the protocol, community and events teams.
My proudest moment is living abroad in the pandemic.
managing not only my family life and work, but also creating some great events within this industry.
Having the privilege of working in the Secretary's office for 4 months.
My biggest achievement this year was actually starting a new role with Create New South Wales.
So I've been doing a lot of yoga during the lockdown, and I can now finally straighten my legs doing downward dog.
A few of us did the 10,000 step challenge.
I'm super proud of putting time towards my study this year.
I'm proud of finally cooking a perfect steak because all the restaurants was closed.
My proudest achievement this year is adopting a cat and then adopting a dog.
I think my proudest moment this year was completing the New South Wales Government Graduate Program in August.
I'm really proud of the fact that we can still have a DPC Staff Awards this year and recognise everyone's hard work and commitment.
My proudest achievement this year is having a baby boy.
Spending all of my money in lockdown on online shopping.
And the list goes on. We still just managed to pivot and get things happening for the people of New South Wales.
My proudest moment this year was surviving homeschooling and my children surviving homeschooling intact.
And seeing my children get through uni and school.
Surviving lockdown with kids. Surviving COVID with 2 pain in the backside twins.
Thank you, DPC.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for the laughs, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone in DPC, for getting through this year. 2021 has really sucked, but 2022 is going to be so much better, right? Right?